Southpaws, filthy cretins, freaks of nature. This is Tyler. He's a southpaw. He's also taller than me and more handsome, so I hate everything about him. In this video, I'm going to show you just the general principles of what you should be doing when you're facing a southpaw. Also a beginner, intermediate, and advanced technique that you can just start using right away to help you when you're facing one of these disgusting creatures. A lot of people talk about the Southpaw Advantage. What is the Southpaw Advantage? Most people think it's like, oh, because their left hand and left foot are real far away and we're open up, they can throw that left hand and it'll hit harder. They can throw that left kick and hit harder. That's not the advantage, because all that stuff is true for me too. My right hand hits harder. My right hand hits harder, and my right kick hits harder. It's all the same. That's not the advantage. The advantage is that he has had more practice at this than I have. The techniques that we're doing to each other are the same, but he's had more practice in the open stance battle, which is very, very different than the closed stance battle. Being a southpaw doesn't mean he just does the same combos and techniques that we do, but reversed. Unless, like his instructor doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, or even worse, always just pairing the left-handed people together to make it easier. The battles that we have to win in open stance, the first one is the hand. And you might know this part, the hand and the foot thing I'm about to get into, but you might not know why, so stick with me. We need to sort of disrupt. This lead hand is going to kind of cancel out. When we're even, I can't really jab Tyler. He'll kind of stop me from jabbing him, and he can't really jab me. It just sort of gets jammed up, and it's basically a race to see who can land that. Most people get it, but I'll explain why. But to understand why, you have to understand what you're doing with your foot. I can cover this hand up and keep him from using it all day long. I have to get my foot to the outside of his foot. Right now, I have a positional advantage. Right here, we're even. Here, I'm winning. Here, I'm losing. But why? If we're dead even, my foot directly in front of him, we're squared up with each other, the left hand sort of cancels out, the rear hand sort of cancels out, our lead kick sort of, it all cancels out. If I get to the outside, I now have a positional advantage. I can punch him with either hand pretty well. I can kick him with either leg pretty well. Conversely, if I'm on the outside, this leg of his is sort of jammed up. Throw a kick. He can, it's just not great. He'd have to do more stuff. He'd have to take at least one step or reorient or jump or spin. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way, because we're going to do like what to do when you don't get this position. We're gonna cover that in another video, so make sure you're subscribed. And his rear stuff, the stuff I'm supposed to be super scared of, that deadly left hand of yours, he has to reach across his body to throw it. It not only takes longer, he's tightened up. As he throws, do it go a 2 and freeze, right? See, he's over here. If I am here, this is a much stronger position. So that's the general idea. Get the foot to the outside, get the hand covering or over the top. But like, what do we do once we get there? Beginner level, super basic. I achieve through my superior tactics and footwork, I achieve that advantageous position with my lead foot to the outside of his lead foot. A lot of you, beginners especially, will get hung up on that guy. Ooh, because that's so good, right? You've been there, right? Like, you get that position, you start throwing that left leg in there, and it's like, the first time you do that to a dude, you're like, oh shit. And you throw it all night long. The problem is, I'll throw it once, it'll hurt him. Bow! Next time I go to throw that thing, he's gonna turn that knee in or check. Yeah, a lot of times with beginners what happens is they just sort of turn, yeah, that happens. That's happened, you've been there, right?
Not just beginners either.
Yeah, everybody does. Well, beginners will do the kick. Yeah. And a more salty, seasoned opponent will just turn that knee in there and it goes, you go ankle or instep into knee, that sucks. This is way safer, but we need to set that up. We don't want to throw naked kicks, even though it's a generally safer kick. We just need to throw that right hand and then that left kick. All right? Boom, bop. Boom, bop. This doesn't have to land. Get him to stop doing stuff to you and then punish the back of that leg. And look what happens. At the end of it all, I end up with this advantageous position again. And it just becomes, you can spam this pretty much over and over again. You can throw this boom, bop, and boom, bop. And then he will have to make a big adjustment to sort of head me off at the pass with the footwork like that, and you get your foot to the outside to keep me from doing that. And then I reset and go again. That's a pretty basic technique you can use against Southpaws. A more intermediate, more creative, more interesting technique for dealing with this is doubling up the rear hand, like throwing a 2 and then another 2, or a rear jab really is the second one. I've actually goofed on one of my fighters' last fights, another Southpaw actually. It's what she needed to do, and I kind of forgot it with Olivia. I didn't think about this doubling up this rear hand, especially if they're taller. The first one you throw might not get through. I'm not gonna retract and throw another one. I'm gonna throw like that. And that usually gets me there, and look at that. Look where you end up. That's where you always need to be ending up. Doubling up that thing, boom, boom. That'll get you that position. And now we can follow up with a big hard kick, or now we've come into range for that lead hook, which would be very difficult. The lead hook is very difficult to land because you got to come over that shoulder, which that's going to be the advanced technique, by the way, is how to land that lead hook. But we just double it up. You show them this and then give them that second one right there. A lot of times you'll just hit the guard twice. I hit the guard, boom, boom. That's fine. If he's guarding, he's not doing much else, right? Sometimes you'll throw the first one. They will breathe, come up for air a little bit, and leave a little space for the second one, right? And sometimes they'll be getting the hell out of dodge. I'll throw the first one, and then they just go to go, and maybe the second one does that. And even you maybe got ring position, or you maybe communicated to judges that you're winning, you know, that's fine too. But you just move it around, just like that. Pulling that head off. Check this out right here, Tyler. Pulling that head off, because the danger here would be his lead hand. I don't have to worry so much about his rear hand if I'm this far out. This is kind of what I got to worry about, because I'm starting to get out on the end of this one. All right, so I'm trying to pull my head over here, over here, over here. And you might be like, but what about the lead hook? He's a southpaw. He don't have a good lead hook. Speaking of the lead hook, it's a preposterous notion for me to ever land a lead hook on this ogre before me, right? He puts his hands up however he wants, and usually a southpaw have a little longer guard like this. They won't really do like this a lot, or they shouldn't. There's times and places for it, but typically they'll be able to have maybe a more bladed stance and a longer guard. The problem is that it would be difficult to land this anywhere, let alone somewhere good, right? So we have to sell the idea that he needs to tighten up his guard or lower his hands. The way we can do that is kind of a Gervonta Davis sort of thing here. I'm gonna stiff him right there with that guy right there. Now that's not without someone commenting right now, like, oh, but you're gonna eat the left. That's a possibility. As I go down here, that's a possibility. But guess what? We're fucking fighting, you know, like, if you don't want to get punched, don't sign up for the fight. If I have to get him to respect that I can hurt him, and I'm gonna stiff him and get out, all right? You have to really land this with some intent first, so that the next time I go like this, I get something, right? I get some sort of reaction. Boom. And then we're gonna follow it up with our good Gazelle Punch or leaping left hook. I'm gonna go boom. Then on the second one, feint and over the top. So typically with the lead hook, I prefer a palm in sort of hook like that. Now the different fistual orientations have different purposes. For this one, I don't like to just do a horizontal one. I almost turn it over just a little bit because I got to contest with this shoulder. So I have to get that thing down. The way I get that down is by really stiffing this thing in there, just like cramming it in here. That's the southpaw disadvantage. Your liver is over here. This is not, it's not great to get hit here, but it's not nearly as bad as getting hit there. Mm-hmm. So you're like walking liver first into the bad guy. So if they're not conscious of that, they can get hit there, but typically you guys are more conscious of that. A lot of orthodox fighters will gladly give up hits here to keep from eating a big overhand right. Mm-hmm. They'll keep their hands high, eat those shots there, they'll eat kicks there. I do it all the time, but we're real religious about this one. Mm-hmm. So he knows that his liver is there. He's been hit there plenty of times. You've been T-kicked there and everything else. So I stiff that thing. Then the next time I go, I'm going to come over the top with that. If you don't know how to do a Gazelle Punch or a leaping left hook, I'll put a link There's a card up there. You can click that. I've done a couple of videos on it. It basically looks like this. I'm orthodox. My feet are oriented this way. And then I jump and switch my hips, and then I'm southpaw facing this way, like a disgusting animal. All right? So stiff him. Boom. Then like that. Now, don't fret. Don't fret. You think, oh, well, Tyler's just trying to make Mike look good by like letting him land it. Doesn't matter if he lands it. Doesn't matter if he runs. If he does go to like a longer guard and pull his head back, when you come up over the top, that's okay. Even if you get to here. Because guess what? We've just cleared this arm out. And now you can underhook him if you're a filthy, disgusting grappler too, right? Yeah. Or you could get real whimsical. One thing that happens very often is you can boom, and you just come up and just clear this out and then throw something even cooler. You want to get real fancy, you can fake, come over the top, pass it over, and then kick on the exit. That's real. Haters gonna say it's fake. You can do it. Go try it. Jab, right? Fake, hook. Next time he's gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna get hit with that hook. Pass that arm over, boom, and throw something like that. That probably looks to some people, there's probably a Kung Fu nerd down there now saying that's a Kung Fu technique. I don't know, maybe it is, but to review, basics, cover the hand, get foot to the outside. Beginner level techniques, show them that right, hit the back of that leg. Getting fancier, want to get closer. Throw that two, throw another one. Real advanced. Hit him in the liver. Fake, come over the top. Bonus lesson. Hit him in the liver. Fake, come over the top. Parry. Boom! And I suppose if you were a southpaw, you could theoretically do all those things to an orthodox person. But hopefully you didn't make it to the end of this video. If you are a southpaw, comment below, I guess. Tell me how wrong I am about your lead hook. I'm sure it's very good. But if you want more fitness tips, are you chewing gum?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, have you been chewing gum this whole time?
Yeah, but you can't tell.
Can you?